Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are finally talking about the new Dior Backstage Glow Face Palettes. I actually have Universal and Glitz in my permanent collection. You can see that Universal was the first one. It's in my left or your right. Glitz was last year's release with regards to this line. I now have all three of the new ones here. So you can see all three of them are here. We're going to be talking about all three of them today. We're going to be reviewing them, swatching them, and doing comparisons also to see if there are any shades that are duplicated between the previous releases. So if you guys want to see all my thoughts on these and whether or not I think they are actually worth their luxury price point, then just keep watching. Let's dive right on into it, you guys. The first ever Dior Glow Backstage, let me try that again. The Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette was this one. This is in 001 Universal. It's now been a couple of years since they released this one. And this one, you guys, was such a huge hit with regards to formulation, with regards to the versatility of this. It's used essentially as a highlight and a blush palette. So they've definitely expanded their line since because it's just been such a bestseller for them. Now, the biggest critique of this is obviously the outer packaging. When you look at other Dior makeup, it's fairly luxurious and for good reason because it's very expensive. But we actually have plastic packaging, we have see-through lids for them, and that was the biggest critique because with travel they were also super breakable. So for me, when I picked up this one 2 years ago, I actually had to reorder another one because it did come shattered. So it's very much a real fear with these. They're just very, very delicate, and interestingly, the line was made for makeup artists. They're made for makeup artists behind the scenes, like for fast, quick events like fashion shows and stuff where they just needed to know what shade they wanted so they could grab it right away without having to open the lids of multiple things. That was essentially the whole idea behind them. So that's why the lid is transparent like that. We also have, this past year's collection. This was 002 Glitz. You can see that it was more pastel-y. This is where they also revealed a new formula. So in the Universal, they had a strobe formula and then a blush formula. There were 2 highlights on top and 2 blushes on the bottom. The top 2 in this one are the glitter strobes. You can tell they have a little bit more of a glitter feature to them, but they're still lightweight, kind of glistening on the skin and not like heavy chunky particles or anything like that. So it was a really, really nice release. And you can see also that there are clearly 3 shades that I love more than the 4th. Just because the 4th I feel like is a little bit deep for me, so I've been using it as eyeshadow. Now for this year's launch, they've actually released this palette for 3 shade combinations, which is awesome. They're all super gorgeous, you guys. And all of them have the same outer packaging. You can see this is a very metallic Dior Backstage, gorgeous packaging. It's very minimal as well, but still classic and chic. We have the first one in 003 Pure Gold. This is the same packaging as previous launches. You can see here that it is translucent still. It's the same packaging. It does have the same outer like metallic silver frame with Dior in the center. Now the front lid offers a window where you can see all 4 shades, and all of these have the exact same Dior pattern embossed right into the powders. They're super, super stunning. This gold palette offers a metallic yellow gold on the top left, a sheer gold on the top right, a shimmer warm gold on the bottom left, a metallic platinum on the bottom right. The next one we have is this 004 Rose Gold. I think this is the one that is actually currently sold out. I did get all 3 of them from Harrods. Oh my gosh, I can't say that website to save my life. Harrods. There we go. I got all 3 of them from Harrods. They do ship to Canada. It's a $40 standard fee, so it is expensive. Just so you guys know, I would suggest if you're going to be ordering from them, make it worthwhile with the shipping costs for sure. But they were extremely fast. They do use DHL Express to us in Canada. They were 61 Canadian dollars each. They are listed as 40 American dollars each on their website, but on the Dior website, which they haven't made an appearance yet. So the Dior website doesn't have the 3 new ones yet, but they do have the old one. I'm just looking from last year, which is the 002 Glitz still. That one is listed at $45. So it looks like Harrods is actually selling it a little bit cheaper for us, which is kind of cool. I don't know why, but I'll take it. Anyways, as I was saying, this is the sold out one on Harrods right now, and this is in 004 Rose Gold. You can see as well the exact same packaging. This is also one that I felt when it came to me, it arrived flawless essentially. No breakage, no pan slightly popped out, which we'll get to for the next quad, but this is actually the same packaging like I said. It does have some really nice rose gold vibes. From left to right, we have a sheer formula in gold pearl. Then on the top left, a metallic in pink gold. Next, a shimmer in rose. And the bottom right is a metallic again in golden peach. The last quad, which I'm going to be using solely for eye color because this one is very, very deep for my skin tone. It's gonna look gorgeous on medium to tan to deep skin tones in my opinion. This is 005 Copper Gold. You can see again, once again, same outer packaging, you know, just to make it cohesive with the brand, clearly. But when you open it up, oh my goodness. I definitely think I could potentially pull off the top left shade in this quad, but I do think the rest of them might be tricky without looking a little bit streaky on a light skin tone. This is the problematic palette that I have. I don't even know if I can show you guys without it falling out, but I do have one shade in this quad that keeps falling out. The biggest disadvantage of this, not only is it incredibly fragile during travel, which makes no sense for a traveling makeup artist, right? If we're thinking about, you know, the sole purpose of this stuff is professional makeup artistry, this is so fragile in travel. You'd have to put it in a carry-on for sure so you could control it. But the second thing is also, okay, you can't quite see, but this shade now, the top right one for me, has completely come out when I was showing you guys vertically, so I can't even hold that anymore without re-gluing it down. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that, but this is also one of the biggest pet peeves. If you're lucky enough for it to come to you unscathed with regards to fragility, there will potentially be a shade that might actually be coming out. This is actually a common problem I've heard, not just from myself, so just be careful with that. So for 005 Copper Gold, you can see we have in the top left a glitter called Coral. There's a metallic copper on the top right. Bottom left is a shimmer tan bronze. And then the bottom right is a sheer golden bronze. So for my look today, I actually used the rose gold quad, and I wanted to keep it a little bit more everyday friendly, not super glitzy today, not super colorful either. So the first shade that I actually picked up is the shimmer in rose. Now this is a gorgeous, everyday, beautiful shade, you guys. I felt like it highlighted very, very quickly also. I dipped my brush in, which is just my standard highlight brush. This is the Sephora collection number 74, and I picked up a ton of pigment right away. So just like other previous palettes, this is the same experience that I have as a makeup user. The other two did the same thing. When you use your brush and you put it into the pan, it picks up pigment super fast. Now, it's not over the top, it's actually a perfect amount. Then you can apply it to your cheek and blend it through, and it's just effortlessly stunning. Like, this is exactly why I was so excited for these. So when I think about like everyday friendly shades, this one I do think is amazing. So this is the first one that I used here. Next, I topped off today with actually the metallic golden peach. I didn't need too much to really amplify this. And this is what makes these palettes super stunning and super easy to use, is the layering capabilities, the blending capabilities, the pigment capabilities. The fact that in my opinion, it doesn't show a ton of texture either. I would say the worst formula that shows texture or emphasizes it the most is actually from this Glitz palette, which is last year's release. The top two shades here were in the Glitter Strobe formula. Now, they didn't show a ton of texture, but they emphasized it a little bit more than some of the other formulas. So when I looked at these new palettes, I didn't see any of the Glitter Strobe formulas. I just saw shimmers, I've seen metallics and stuff like that. So it sounds like they've changed finishes slightly. This is the pure gold one, and then we've got the rose gold one once again. So I'm really confident that these quads and these formulations are not going to show texture as much as some previous palettes did, which is a huge win also. Lastly, we have the Copper Gold. Now, here are the swatches for Copper Gold. You can see it's so stunning. We do have a couple shades that look a little similar in this quad. This is the first time that we've seen this compared to the other two. I do think that the second shade and then the fourth shade do look close. We do have different finishes between them. So although finish-wise they are different, in my opinion, this is the one quad where I feel like they could have added another beautiful copper shade and really taken out one of those two. Now let's look at some comparison swatches, because I do know that the pink in Universal, which you can see in the bottom left corner here, might be pretty similar to the pink in Rose Gold on the top right. Of course, they do have different finishes, but let's swatch them and see. So as you can see here, the differences are super slight. They're also harder to pick up on camera, and that's something that I noticed. The one in Universal is more of a purple luminescent, and then the Rose Gold is definitely more of a pink. But because of how they shine and how they shimmer, you can see that in sunlight, it's very hard to pick up a difference. I also wanted to test the bronzer that's in the Universal palette, or the blush, I guess they call it. But it's this one in the bottom corner, the bottom right corner. And I wanted to see how it would compare to some of the bronze shades or the copper shades in Copper Gold. Now I'm careful to make sure that this quad is closed because, like I said, I do have a pan that's loose, completely loose. So the first and the second are actually from Copper Gold. You can see that they are extremely different than the bronzy blush shade in Universal. So that's awesome. There really isn't a dupe with regards to the bronze shades in Universal. So if you have Universal and you have your eye on the Copper Gold one, I actually think that's a pretty safe bet. There aren't any shades that are close or anything. The bronzer from Glitz, on the other hand, which I'm going to show you right here, the bronzer on Glitz, which is the bottom left also, does have a very similar shade in Copper Gold. As you can see, the left shade is from Glitz, and then we have the Copper Gold shade right beside it. So obviously the Copper Gold is much more copper, less bronze, but very, very similar, I would say, with the Glitz shade being a little bit deeper. So this one has a closer shade, but I wouldn't say that they are as close as the pinks were. They're definitely different enough in my opinion, but just saying they do have a similar quality. Going back to the Universal palette, once again, there is a gold in the top right corner. So I did want to actually compare it to some of the golds in Pure Gold. You can see that on the far left, we have the gold from Universal. The other two are from Pure Gold. So they're definitely different. They shine different. They have different undertones. They also have completely different finishes, obviously, with the two from Pure Gold being a lot more shimmery. The last comparison that I did was actually between these gold shades. So you can see there's two gold shades in Glitz, and I wanted to see how they compare to Pure Gold shades, as well as the Rose Gold quad. So as you can see here, the golds here are also pretty distinct in my opinion. I don't think that they have any similarities. They do look like different golds to me, so that's obviously a good sign. And then comparatively to the Rose Gold, you can see that the Rose Gold shade has slight rose elements to it, so it is also different. So when it comes to what shades are actually close, the closest is definitely between Universal, the pink in here, and the Rose Gold pink. Even though they look slightly different in pan, they do shine, you know, they do have some slight similarities with shine, and one shines purple, one shines more pink, but they're pretty close when it comes to how they look on the skin. So that is, I would say, the closest shade out of everything. And then if you have the Glitz palette, there is one in there that is sort of got some similarities, but not too bad. So that's honestly my opinion. I don't think that there's a ton of duplication, which I appreciate. I was a little bit worried when they were doing 4 new quads if there was going to be some kind of duplication, but with the exception of me thinking that there are 2 shades in Copper Gold just within this palette that look like they're kind of close, there aren't that many duplicates, so I do love that. All right, guys, what do you think of these palettes? Do you love them? Is it on your wish list at all? If so, which shade compilation do you think is your favorite? So far, like I said, it's only available at Harrods right now, but I will update in a pinned comment when I see it on the Dior website, as well as other retailers, because I know it's coming there soon. I just don't know a date yet. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support, guys. I hope this review was helpful. Until my next one, take care, stay safe. Bye, guys.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.